You just have to be willing to put yourself out there. And once you do, the magic will begin to happen. I'm happy to use my life as an example so that others can learn. You may have to let some things go before you become successful. Success looks different on everybody, and so does the process. Some of you want success but don't want to let go of the exact thing that's in your way of obtaining success. You can't have it both ways. Welcome to Living Your Truth with Tavares. Wow, thank you. I am living in my blessing. Thank you so much. This is great. Wow. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. What's up to everybody up top? What's up to everybody in the middle? And what's up to everybody down here around me? Thank you so much again for joining us for another great episode of Living Your Truth with Tavares. Today we have Bernadine. Bernadine is a fellow podcaster and a new friend. I was on her show, Rethreading, and correct me if I'm right, Bernadine, Rethreading the Message, correct?
Rethreading Madness.
Rethreading Madness, excuse me.
We went right to the far end of the range of what you could call a show on mental health.
Bernadine.
And we did that actually because people who have mental health challenges love playing with those words. So they call themselves psycho or crazy or mad or freak or you name it. We have a lot of fun with it. So that's where that comes from, Rethreading Madness.
Nice. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so everybody around the world, they're listening right now. So I just wanted to give people some context. I was on her podcast. We had a great time. And so I wanted to return the opportunity because we had such a great time. And we wanted to further our conversation. So Bernadine is here with us here today. Bernadine, please let the people know where you are from and what you do.
I live and work out of Vancouver, BC, Canada, and as we say up here, it is the unceded territory of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. We work really hard up here around reconciliation, and so that is a part of our reconciliation is to acknowledge the land that we live on and who it belongs to. Wow. I'm also a mental health advocate, award-winning mental health advocate, have been so for 30-some years. I am the radio host for the longest-running syndicated program on radio on mental health called Rethreading Madness, which we just talked about.
That's right.
And I'm also a consultant around the issue of therapy abuse and exploitation, which is a burgeoning issue that is like child sexualized trauma or battered women, clergy abuse, human trafficking, all those social issues that have come forward. This is the next thing that is coming forward, and it's coming forward at a fast pace. So
really?
I do a lot of work around that as well. So.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Keep going.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the show. And it's so nice to literally be able to speak to somebody who's kind of a fellow traveler who speaks your language. And I felt that when we talked before on my show, that's how I felt about you.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
Shared a lot of things in common. It was really a wonderful conversation. So thank you.
You're very welcome. My pleasure to serve you. So how did you get into the mental health space? I know a lot of people take different approaches, and big up to you for being award-winning. I can only imagine the work that you had to put in to get to where you are today. But how did you find yourself in this mental health space?
The College of Hard Knocks. That's all I can say. My interest in mental health and my work in mental health has come from my own lived experience. So as a child, I grew up in a terrible home. For all, in all the ways that you can imagine that. But I also was trafficked by my parents in human trafficking.
Oh my goodness.
And considering my age, I say that because it's hard to say that still, but I'm over 60. Most of the time we think that human trafficking is a new issue. And it's not. It has been around forever, where we now understand that people go, say, to third world countries as sexual tourists. They used to just simply go to the country.
Wow.
Right? Because there were no police officers, there were no social workers, no one was paying attention. And in fact, not only was no one paying attention, people were told to take your children out there to raise them because it was so safe.
Wow.
Um, so, so I grew up in a very unsafe situation,
Mm.
and experienced a lot of trauma, which has affected my whole life. It affected who I dated, it affected who I married, it
Mm.
affected how I interacted with people.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a long history of being traumatized in various ways. That all seems kind of extreme, but it makes sense given what I learned as a very small child.
Wow. Thank you for
And
your courage and thank you for sharing that. My goodness. We're going to get back into more of this conversation with Bernadine. We got some bills to pay right now. This is Living Your Truth. We'll be right back. Today's show is brought to you by The Body Synthesis. We mitigate health risks through preventative medicine coaching. Check us out, thebodysynthesis.com. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. I am here with Bernadine, and Bernadine is sharing her story with courage. Man, a whole lot of humility, and you know, I am here for it, and I'm here for you. So, you were talking about how you got into the mental health space. You were so gracious and confident and courageous again, sharing your story. Thank you so much about that or for that. Um, with today's show being on believing in yourself, how did you continue to believe in yourself so that you kept moving forward in life?
I don't think I did believe in myself for a very, very, very long time. My healing process wasn't for me. It was because I was the mother, the single mother of two children, that I did not want to have my life. And so I felt very strongly
Mm-hmm.
that I had to heal, regardless of whatever it took. I had to heal so that they did not live my life.
Ah,
And in
yeah.
doing that, in that process of healing, you learn things about yourself and eventually are able to get to the place of not just believing in yourself, because I think that's kind of an overused phrase,
Mm-hmm.
and it means different things to different people. But for
True.
me, I got to the place where I could feel my feet on the ground for the first time in my life.
Wow,
And from
nice.
there, I could believe in myself. And it wasn't a cliche. It was the fact that I knew my feet were on the ground and I could trust that and I could trust my decisions because I had managed to get there. And I'd managed to get there. Yes, I had therapists, but I managed, regardless of how many therapists or coaches or whatever you
Mm-hmm.
have,
Mm-hmm.
the work that goes into healing is yours.
That's
It's
right.
what you do, and it's how you approach things, and it's how much you're willing to look at what's in front of you and the
Mm-hmm.
dark places in you and the dark parts
Mm.
of you. Um, it comes from doing that really hard work that you do.
Yeah,
Nobody can do that for
no
you.
doubt about it. And thank you for going into that. I could feel your energy right now just as you were talking about that. We relate to each other on that, right? I often share with not only my members through the body synthesis, but even friends and family about doing the work and understanding that it's going to be uncomfortable, not feeling like I'm not going to act brand new when I know that I'm on a journey. And I know this
Mm-hmm.
journey is going to be the difference between me growing or not. So I'm not going to be surprised when it feels like a battle, right? And I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times people kind of miss that. They think sometimes going into a journey, I shouldn't feel awkward. I shouldn't feel challenged. I shouldn't feel negative energy. I shouldn't feel this or that. And I think a lot of the times that's exactly what we're supposed to feel because we're on a journey. Like we're trying to get through something. And anytime that we're going through something, there may or may not be a little bit of turbulence. How am I doing
Mm-hmm.
with that?
I think you're absolutely dead on. The most powerfully healing moments in my journey have been the times that I've had to look at myself
Mm-hmm.
and something I've done or said that absolutely breaks me in terms of
Yeah.
it's not nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't being kind. I wasn't being compassionate.
For
I
sure.
wasn't being what everybody thinks we should be that makes us into good people. It was something that I did or thought or heard or felt
Mm.
about myself that I didn't like, that I had to look at and move through
Mm-hmm.
and find my way through it and find the ways that on the surface it might look bad, but when I moved through it, I could see how that was protective and that was the only way I could protect myself at that moment in that time, and that I could now
Wow.
find a different way of doing it. But it's those places that I think people underestimate in that journey, is that you're not just going to find the things you like about yourself. You're going to find the good, bad, and the ugly.
That's right.
And at times when it's the bad, ugly part, those are the places where you want to turn and run, but those are the places that hold the most healing for you.
Ooh, I just love how you articulated that, Bernadine. Very, very well said. I agree with all of it. I know on my journey, it was really about that. It was going into the dark corners of my mind and being able to, like you said, pay attention to the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and the beauty, because all of those make up who we are. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back. We're here with Bernadine. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. Today, we are on with Bernadine. Bernadine is she's the host of the podcast, Rethreading the Message. I got it right this time.
No, you didn't actually.
I didn't?
It's Rethreading Madness. No, no, it's okay. It's Rethreading Madness. I like rethreading the message though too. I think that's cool. It actually
Okay.
relates to exactly what we're doing, which is
Rethreading the message.
rethinking
Yeah.
what is mental health all about.
And look, we the last segment we talked about mental health and of course going to those dark corners and being able to see what you like and of course seeing what you don't like. In your experience and working with others, do you find this particular space during the journey, do you find this to be something that you have to do more work with as you work with others, or is it something that they being others, that they get?
I think that we end up with a value judgment about what's good and what's bad.
Okay.
And we don't always know what's good and bad.
True.
So, for instance, I've done a lot of work with folks who have dissociative identities.
Oh,
and
okay.
those folks will often have parts of them that are absolutely scary.
Okay.
But when you work with them, and talk with them and find out why they're doing what they're doing, you find out that they're there to protect the person. That it's all self-protective. It's all about staying safe. It's all about survival. And it's the same for anybody, regardless of whether you have dissociative identities or not. We are here to survive.
Yeah.
You know, it's why we can't will ourselves to stop breathing or stop
Yeah.
digesting food or
Yeah.
stop pumping blood. Our bodies are designed to heal and to survive. And so any part of yourself that you find that is in those little dark places that scare the hell out of you, it can feel as hard, but so can finding out that you've been so kind and so good and so wonderful, you've lost yourself. Right? That you forgot yourself somewhere along the line, that you've so focused on other people, which happens to women all the time, that you left yourself behind. And so, yes, you were being great and wonderful and good, but not to yourself. And those can be hard times too.
Absolutely. Well said. Definitely. I often share that in order for us to love other people, we have to love ourselves. I often make a comment about if I want my wife to spend time with me, I have to be willing to spend time with myself. And so those are some of the things that I go to when I think about self-love, self-awareness, self-healing. And then of course, when it came to me on my journey and doing all of the work, I definitely had to go back and gather up some pieces of myself that I left behind or that I omitted, right? Because of wanting to shapeshift, wanting to fit into certain groups with certain people, right? Some of us will leave pieces of ourselves to the side thinking that we're doing ourselves a solid when in actuality we're doing ourselves a disservice by doing that. So when it comes to
working with people in this field, you being an award winning mental health advocate, share some of the bright spots so people around the world know that though we're talking about some what could be considered difficult topics, and in some many cases they are, but we're also in a space where we're educating people. So let's speak to some of the bright spots that you have been witness to when it comes to working with those who you've been working with.
I know you're going to understand exactly when I say this, Tavares, that being being blessed to be a part of somebody else's healing process
Mm.
or growth,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of where it starts or
Mm-hmm.
what ugliness is a part of that,
Mm-hmm.
is one of the most amazing
Mm-hmm.
things that you can be a part of. Somebody's
Mm-hmm.
literally taking you along their healing journey.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't get better than that.
Nice. Yeah.
And those moments can be the little ones. So I'm not a therapist, and so I'm not there to push somebody along in some kind of therapeutic process. My job is simply to reflect back and maybe
Nice.
add some educational component that maybe they don't know. But the beauty is in asking one question, because you've been there, you've lived that experience, you know where they're at, you
Yeah.
know what road they're on because you've been on that road, and you can ask that one question that puts it together for them in a way that nobody else has ever done.
Wow.
Is so powerful, not because it feeds me, but because you can literally see on their faces that it's made a difference in their lives.
Oh
And
my
to me,
goodness.
that is the biggest thing. You
Bernard.
didn't ask this question, but I will tell you the hardest part is dealing, and the ugly part is dealing with the systems we have in place that don't understand what survivors are going through.
Okay,
That is the
let's
hardest part.
thank you for saying that. We're gonna pay some bills real quick, but thank you for breaking that down the way that you did. And you're right. Being along for someone's personal journey, absolutely nothing compares to that. We're here with Bernadine from Rethreading Madness. I got it right, right?
You got it.
All right, all
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
We're here with Bernadine from Rethreading Madness. She's the host of that podcast, and so grateful to have her here. We're gonna pay some bills. We'll be right back, everybody. Thank you, Bernadine. Today's show is brought to you by Tag Management, Photography, Videography, Photo Booth, and Drone. Make sure you call Tag Management for your next event and visit us at tagmgmt.net. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. We're here with Bernadine from the podcast Rethreading Madness. I got it right again. And so we've been talking about being along for the journey, talking about some of the bright spots while on the personal journey with somebody who's going through an evolution. Bernadine spoke to my question saying that, being along for the ride, there's just nothing that compares. And you're absolutely right. When I work with my members at the Body Synthesis, it's so fulfilling to see the evolution and to see them work through issues and problems that once pained them. So when it comes to the bright spots, I often share that. I often remind them, look, this is where you started. This is where we are right now, and this is where you're going. And when I put that together for my members and even strangers or friends, people tend to get excited. With what you do, what do you find excites the people the most that you work with?
One of the most profound healing things, in my opinion, out there uh, is peer support. And what peer support is that you're hanging out with somebody who has gone through what you've gone through,
Mm-hmm.
who can hear you, who can recognize you,
Yep.
And it's acceptance. One of the most profound things that you can offer anybody in your life that is a healing thing is, I accept you. I see you for who you are, good, bad, ugly, and I accept you for who you are in this moment. And that's what happens in peer support. So it is, like I said, one of the most profound healing things that you can do. So, as an adjunct to therapy, if that's where you're going, or if you can't do therapy, because certainly some of the people I work with who have been harmed by therapists can't quite get to therapy at that point, but they can go to a peer support group and be around other people who've gone through the same types of harm and learn things. And they not just learn educational stuff; they watch somebody else tell their story.
Gosh,
and that's incredibly profound for them.
you, Bernadine, you're awesome. You're awesome. I love the way the passion is so obvious that you love what you do. And it's so obvious that you love the people that you serve. I think it's wonderful considering your story, the fact that you are still willing and able to give love and passion, compassion, and attention. I salute you. I really, really, really do. I really do. Uh, Everyone that you work with is very fortunate to have you. Um, Mental health can be tough. I'm an advocate myself. I believe in brain health. Excuse me. And, you know, it is so often dismissed, so often misdiagnosed. I mean, just, I think I was last week, I was around somewhere and I saw what was obviously um, a mental health crisis. And the police were just kind of standing around. I was in Walnut Creek, so that's a city out here in the Bay Area. So I was in this city, and the short version is I'm driving by and I see these three cops, and I see, this one, this lady by herself, uh, you know, looked like she was on some hard times. But the cops were standing around like they had like no idea what to do. They had like no clue. Um, so seeing that, I was just thinking to myself, call somebody. Call somebody who's qualified to come on out and to assist with this situation. We all have seen cops completely go about this the wrong way. Have you ever seen anything in all your time that you've been in your profession? Have you ever seen anything out in public like that, or at a business building, office building? Have you ever seen anything like that?
Where the cops are standing around?
Like it's an obvious mental health crisis. Law enforcement is there and they appear to maybe or maybe not know what to do.
Yes, actually, I was in a mall once, and a person who's neurodivergent was having a meltdown. Not uncommon for somebody who, say, has autism to have a meltdown
Sure. Yeah.
in public where it's overstimulated.
Yep.
And he clearly had a caregiver with him who was trying to help him calm down. But security came along. Now, they're not police officers, but they have the same kind of idea. Like,
Yep.
I'm going to get in control of this
Yep.
thing. This is going to make this person stop doing what they're doing.
Yep.
And they just, of course, every interaction was angry and sort of overpowering, and they were making it worse.
Yep.
And I had to intervene, and I could do that because they're not cops. If they were cops, it might have been different.
Correct.
But I had to intervene and stand between them and the kid and say,
Nice.
leave her alone. Like, she's the caregiver. She knows what to do for him. Let her do her job, and
That's
you
right.
stay out of this. But they had a really hard time getting that. Now, I don't know about what happens in the United States. I know in Canada, we deal with wellness checks by RCMP and police officers that go badly so often, it's terrifying. So around the time of George Floyd,
Hold that thought.
mental health crisis, we had somebody here who did have a mental health crisis who was First Nations, and they shot her.
Hold that thought right there. We're going to pay some bills. Hold that thought. We're coming right back. This is Living Truth with Tavares. This is Bernadine on the other end. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. We're here with Bernadine. Please, Bernadine, keep it going. We're having a great conversation right now, everybody. So, as you were, Bernadine.
Well, Well, it is an issue, and in fact, right now we have a saying up here in Canada: if it's a First Nations person who is having a difficulty, the last people you called is the police. You do not call them.
Yes,
You do
that's
not
right.
call the RCMP because they're in danger at that point. They're dealing with racism. They're dealing with
Yep.
stigma around mental health issues
Yep.
and some kind of idea that you can treat a mental health consumer in any way you want. It's justified.
Wow.
So, um, I don't, like I said, I don't know what's happening in the United States, but up here in Canada, people who have mental health challenges have lost a lot of their human rights. And so they
Wow.
are at risk of interventions by police officers and people in authority that it's a
I'm,
risk to their lives.
I'm so sorry to hear that. That's horrible. In the United States, they are just now, I feel, starting to get to a place where they're calling out additional assistance, medical assistants, counselors, therapists, all alike. Um, Now, is it happening in every city or state? Probably not. I feel like it's, still pilot programs in some of these bigger cities. And I know people, I know they want to, I guess, do better, especially when it involves the police. And I do agree with you. I believe that law enforcement, anybody in that space, makes these types of situations worse simply because they don't understand it. They look at the person and they see a threat. And I think that's a little, well, not only judgmental, but I think it's a bit immature, considering where we are as a nation, as a country, as a world. I feel like there's more than enough information out there to let everybody know how to or not to approach somebody who may be having a mental health crisis. And so when I see cops make a situation that's already somewhat not good and uncomfortable, they make it worse. I almost get personally offended, like just because of the space that I'm in, right? Like even with you, it's almost like, do you not see what's going on here? And so when I
Mm-hmm.
see that, I'm just blown out of the water because my brother-in-law is a deputy chief, okay? And we talk all the time, and I haven't always had the best relationships with law enforcement growing up. So when me and my wife got back together after 18 years and we got married, her brother just so happened to be a cop in my eyes. Great guy. He just so happened to be a cop. So in the conversations that
Mm-hmm.
him and I were able to have, I would ask him these questions: racism and, police brutality and, even mental health. So I thank you for sharing that because I agree with you. Sometimes mental health, law enforcement, yeah, not a good mix. Out here, same thing. They'll admit you if a situation occurs more than once. They will definitely, they'll admit you for sure. They will push for that, and then yeah, then we're in trouble because you're right. Um, Rights are being frozen. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's a mess. So I'm with you. I'm a mental health advocate again, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm all about getting people the help, the assistance,
Mm-hmm.
professional help, professional assistance that they so require. And now with you yourself, um, while you continue to build what appears to be a great empire, um, how does Bernadine spend her time? I mean, you're doing all this for everybody else, and we love that. But how do you spend your time?
I get to raise my grandchild,
Oh,
who's
nice.
26. And
Nice.
so not a child anymore, but special needs, gifted. And so
Nice.
therefore, someone um, who can stand to have a parent for a little bit longer.
Mhm.
And that's a joy to me. I have other
Nice.
grandchildren too, but this one in particular, because I get to parent her and because she is so gifted, is an incredible joy for me to be able to do that. And I also spend a lot of time in nature as much as I
Nice.
can. We call it forest bathing up here in the rainforest, and
Wow.
it's a beautiful thing to be able to do because um, nature gives back so
Yeah.
unselfishly.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. Everybody, we are here with Bernadine from Rethreading. Madness podcast. I got it right again. We are so grateful to we're so grateful to have her here. We're gonna go ahead and pay some more bills because bills got to get paid. Advertisers want to get they want to get the recognition, and we're okay with that here at the show. So we're gonna do that. We'll be right back. We're here with Bernadine. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. I'm here with Bernadine from Rethreading Madness podcast. I've been on her show before, not too long ago. I wanted to have her back on this show because we have a great vibe, great chemistry, as you all have been able to share in what we've been talking about. Bernadine, how can we all get closer to you, get a hold of you, follow you, subscribe to you?
I am blessed with a name that not very many people in the world have. So it's actually very easy to find me. So my name is Bernadine, not Bernardine, but Bernadine Fox. And you just Google me. You're going to find my visual arts portfolio out there. So, because I'm also a visual artist. But you also find information about me on my radio program, but also the work I do. So if you go to Linktree / Bernadine, and because I have a unique name, it's easy to find me. And so there's no numbers or letters or exclamation marks. So Bernadine at Linktree. You can also find Rethreading Madness at Linktree.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to listen to the radio program, you can find it on any podcast platform just by Googling Rethreading Madness. I have a website called Coming to Voice, all one word, .ca, not .com. It talks about my memoir and also the work I do around therapy, abuse, and exploitation if people are interested in that as well. It's sometimes very hard to find information on that because just because of how the algorithms are set up out there in Google land. So Coming to Voice, Bernadine Fox, and on Linktree you will find all of my links for all my social media plus all my websites, et cetera, et cetera. I'm very easy to find.
Thank you, Bernadine. Thank you so much. Um, and I love the way that, again, I mentioned this earlier in the show, the passion, the sincerity in your voice, the authenticity. Um, it goes far beyond, I believe, this show. I feel like you have the kind of energy that can reach out a very long way and touch people because it's touching
Thank
me.
you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm feeling your energy. I love your authenticity. I really do. I love your transparency is just off the meter. Thank you. Thank you for being an inspiration to me today on the show. Seriously. You just got good juju. You really do. And
My good juju, huh?
you got great
my
juju.
Good juju comes from exactly what we've been talking about, which is that once you have, faced all the good, bad, and ugly, you can be transparent.
Yes.
And you can be yourself.
Yes.
Because you don't have to hide.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
Thank you, Tavares, for this.
It's totally my pleasure to serve you. I think, I believe, I know all that you've been sharing and just educating us on. I can only imagine all 217,000 people probably got their notepads out today. I tell you, and look, rightfully so, rightfully so. You've come into this space. You've blessed us all. You have let us in. Your courage,
Thank
your
you.
strength, you're welcome. You are welcome, darling. And you are welcome here anytime you want. And I mean that. In fact,
Tavares,
we're going to have you bark.
You got something to say.
Absolutely.
You just give me a call.
Absolutely. We're going to have Bernadine back. Bernadine, will you come back?
I will come back.
All
Only
right.
Come back to mine, though.
Absolutely.
Come back to mine, too.
Deal. Deal and deal.
Okay.
You guys heard it here first on Living Your Truth with Tavares. So grateful to have Bernadine from the podcast Rethreading Madness. All right, all right. We'll be right back. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. Welcome back to the show. This is Living Your Truth with Tavares. I want to say thank you. Thank you very much to everyone who continues to tune in from around the world. And a very special thank you to our guest today, Bernadine, the host of Rethreading Madness. Great podcast. Check it out. And look, we advocate and we support mental health, aka brain health. We want you guys to all know that you can always come here to Living Your Truth with Tavares and get support. You can also check out thebodysynthesis.com, traditional spelling. Continue to thrive, upward and onward. Always talk yourself up in and not down and out. So, until the next time, love yourself, love each other. Oh, wait a minute. And if you want to get a hold of me and us on social, go to Living Your Truth Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you're on X, it's LIVIN, the letter U, the letter R, and the word truth. So, as I was saying, until the next time, love yourself and each other, and don't forget to live your truth. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.